Hello, and welcome to episode 211 of Film Night. My name's Richie,
My name's Henry.
My name's Joe.
and in today's episode, we're talking about David Fincher's The Killer. How's everyone doing this week, this fine week?
Good boys. Good to be back.
Yeah.
After
I was going to say.
missing
Oh, yeah.
first time in a long time, but
Yeah.
That's right, yeah. You boys were away for last week's episode, and now
Yes.
viewers and listeners may have noticed we're missing one more. Jack Francis Clark has not been able to appear on this week's episode.
Yeah.
So
No, he has a good excuse though, doesn't he? He's earning.
Is he working?
Earning the money. I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's
Yeah.
working today.
yeah.
yeah, that's a fair enough excuse. We sort of had to. It's been a bit of a not very well scheduled or organized one. This one, has it? Just sort of quickly
Threw it together.
thrown it together. Yeah.
Hobbled together, I'd say.
Yeah. In fact, we're recording it the day before it's due to be released, which is fun.
Sometimes they're the best ones though, Richie. You know, sometimes just off the cuff, just go for it. I do just sort of want to bring something up though, gentlemen, because
yes, please.
you know, I heard the podcast introduction last week.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like I just need to, because obviously I was creating the shorts for the podcast, and I sort of had it running, and I do just want to take a moment just to explain the reasoning for myself not being on the podcast last week. I feel like you gents sort of portrayed Wood's sort of reasoning as very good,
kindly.
a bit more kindly to myself. I felt like you were trying to sort of insinuate that I'd got into some sort of witness protection scheme or something because I didn't get to see the film. But I'd be quite honest.
We editorialized a bit.
I think you did, yeah. And it was funny to listen to. I was chuckling to myself, but no, genuinely, it was finding the time. I think for a 3.5 hour film, definitely wasn't going to go and see that on an evening after work. And then during the day, you boys sort of know what the cinema situation is like here. And really random and weird times for the... I do want to point out as well, I would have been going to the View in Preston because I want a recliner for a 3.5 hour film.
That's true. I don't think
island.
either of us had considered the fact that you've not even got really a decent cinema near you anymore. Well, I mean, there's the island, but that's not.
Yeah,
you don't want to go and see a 3.5 hour film in the island, do you?
No.
Oh God, your back will be in bits after that. Jesus.
But no,
we love the island on this podcast.
We do. I'm just saying, it's seats aren't suitable for a 3.5 hour film. That's what I'm saying.
No.
It's barely suitable for a 2 hour film.
I concur. I agree. So no, just wanting to put it out there. You know, I honestly do want to see it because I have seen the trailer, and it does look good. So it will be something that I will be watching. Probably won't catch it in the cinema now because that's another thing as well. Considering it was a really big release, well, I assume it was a big release. The amount of showings on at the cinema at the View in Preston were shocking, absolutely shocking.
Really?
And I think my idea would have been going during the day on a Saturday or a Sunday, but actually trying to find a viewing at that time. They were all sort of sticking them on at 8 o'clock at night, and you're like, that's why I didn't go during the week because I don't want to be sat watching that till 12 o'clock at night.
I had to go at 8 o'clock at night, and it's definitely possible that may have affected my viewing.
Yeah, so I am by no means not saying that there wasn't a little bit of crikey. That's a 3.5 hour film.
Yes,
that's put me off a little bit. Which, you know, to be fair, it did. But as soon as it's on Apple TV, and I know that's not probably the way that we want to go, but I will be watching it, and there will be a review for
Scorsese won't be happy about that.
I know.
Well, make a short film, Martin. You know, we don't just.
I tend to agree.
With the Irishman as well. The last one he did, like that was a similar kind of time when it length time. And obviously that was on Netflix, probably was it in lockdown or something like that. So we couldn't.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so we couldn't go to the cinema. So it was the only way we could watch it. And I remember doing that in stints, and making a brew, coming back, and because it's just far too long to.
Yeah, I sometimes wonder though, is that not a harder way to sort of tackle these things sometimes? Because like, if you're sort of struggling with it and then you like take a break, is it not like harder to you sort of think, oh, God, I've got to go back to this sort of thing? If it's a slog, I suppose, but
could be. But
I suppose it depends on what type of if it's caught you.
If it's Zack Snyder's Justice League.
If it's like, if it's like, oh, this is really captivating, I'm really interested, I just need to get up and stretch my legs, then it's not too bad, is it? But you probably are right. If you're getting into it and the first hour's nowhere and it's dragging, then you probably will.
It might be easier to just
motivation to
keep going and ride it out rather than take a break and then try and come back to it. I don't know. I just don't know. But you do have a chance to get back at Jack now, Pepster, because it was all him. If I'm being honest, he sort of twisted my arm into making those claims about the two of you. I wasn't really happy about it.
yes,
but we'll be talking to him tomorrow. Do not worry. We'll be talking.
You have a chance to get back at him because he's not here.
He isn't.
Which is fair enough. He's got work.
No, he has got a very, very good.
But reason. I haven't seen him log the film on Letterboxd at the very least. That's the very least he could do.
That's true.
So
he's had 2 evenings, the lad, to watch.
True.
And it's only 2 hours. So
only 2 hours.
Yeah,
got no excuse.
Great length, Fincher. Yeah. So he's got some answering to do there, I think. But
you don't know though. He might, or is he one? Because I'm the same. I've seen the film. I've not logged it yet. Is he one that sees it and then doesn't maybe log it straight away, or is he quite on it with the logging?
Sometimes I think it depends. But I think for something like this, he probably would have logged it pretty quick if he'd seen it. I think he's taken the opportunity.
New release and things. Yeah.
I think he's taken the opportunity, knowing that he's not going to be on this episode, to not bother watching it, or at least not bother watching it in the 2 days since it's been out.
Released.
Yeah.
Never know. He might watch it tonight. I just thought with us all meeting tomorrow, he would have seen it.
Yeah. Plus, he said he was very excited for it, and I was excited for it. I think we all were.
Yeah. Definitely.
Because we're big Fincher heads, as are most people, I think, really. But yeah, I mean, I guess without much further ado, should we just get into the review? That rhymed.
Let's do it.
Okay. So yeah, we're talking about David Fincher's The Killer, and that stars Michael Fassbender, Tilda Swinton, Charles Parnell, Arliss Howard, and Kerry O'Malley. The synopsis is: after a fateful near miss, an assassin battles his employers and himself on an international manhunt he insists isn't personal. What did you two think of The Killer?
Well, I did watch this on the first evening it came out. I'm very much looking forward to it. And it didn't disappoint for me. In fact, it actually exceeded my expectations of what I was expecting. I was a bit, I don't know, maybe because of his last film, Mank. Again, similar, came out in lockdown, and we were all very excited for it, but it just didn't do anything for me. I thought it was dull. No. And I know it was a massive passion project of David Fincher. One, so I'm not going to begrudge anyone that has something like that and we want to get it made, and there's personal reason behind it. But for me, it just didn't work, and I didn't find it entertaining that much at all. It'd be interesting now to watch that again. I've actually having watched Citizen Kane. Did we watch Citizen Kane before Mank came out or not? Actually,
yeah, I think we did. I think.
Okay. Oh right. Well, Edit that out then.
I mean, I based on my memory, I could be wrong about that. You might be right.
I think you're right actually. But yeah, with this one, it seemed on the premise alone and the look of the trailer, it seemed like it was going to return to a bit more of a familiar setting and style with Fincher, and it did, and I was very glad to see that it did. I thought Fassbender was brilliant as the main role. He did it perfectly. Not seeing him as a main man for a long time. I'm struggling to think of last film he was top dog, but I've seen anyway. I just loved everything about this. It flowed really well. It was very, very engaging. The pace of it was well executed. She had everything that was enjoyable that I'd like to see in a film. It's good, like Friday night, sitting in front of a telly. Yeah, right, it's not the cinema, but it was a good experience. It looked great. It felt great. I very much enjoyed it. Very much enjoyed it.
Do you wish you had been able to see it in the cinema?
I think, yeah. I think it would have been a good one in the cinema. I wouldn't say.
I agree.
I wouldn't say sort of cinematography wise, it's like up there with some of his other ones, but like top ones.
No, but it was still really beautifully shot, I think.
Yeah, and obviously like the locations are in like Paris and the Dominican Republic and all that.
Yeah.
When he was driving around and he was doing his thing. I mean, yeah, it would have looked amazing on a big screen. It would have all those Smith songs. They would have sounded brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a shame that it. I don't really know quite what happened. Did it get a cinematic release? I think maybe a small one, maybe.
From my understanding, he's got a deal with Netflix now. So I think he's like a 4-year deal.
Right.
There's 2 films in, but they've taken 3 years. It was 3 years between Mank and this. So I don't know what he's going to do next. But he has got a deal with Netflix. So that limits your cinematic release options, doesn't it?
Yeah, true.
We don't tend to do what Apple TV do with some of their films, do they? Like the Kills of a Flower Moon. So,
well, maybe Netflix have got a bit more weight on their demands than Apple TV in that respect. Probably people just sort of do. Well, I think Netflix are quite fair with what they let people do as well. So I think it's easier maybe to come to those kind of deals.
Well, yeah. Look at Mank. Like that was completely. They did let him do what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. We didn't like it, but you can clearly see that was they weren't getting involved as much in that. Like that was very much what he wanted to make. So.
I think that's true. So I think maybe that's why they can sort of be like, well, we want the full like release of it.
Yeah, so I just did a quick search. It said in 2020, the article said Netflix signed David Fincher in an exclusive 4-year deal. They made it sound like he's some kind of footballer signing for a professional team. Netflix have signed David Fincher.
Yeah, it seems weird. It seems weird
3 years into it then.
In years. Yeah, I was gonna say it seems weird to do that in years rather than like 4 projects. Yeah, because like he could do like one film that takes like 4 years to make.
Well, he's done 2 in 3 years, hasn't he? So
yeah, so it seems like
if you sign that deal in 2020, we're very close to 2024. Is he going to be able to get another one made by then? You doubt it.
Yeah.
Being the perfectionist that he is, and how long he likes to take on things, and yeah, weird, isn't it? A weird way to.
Does seem strange.
It's better just saying, look, just do 3 films or 4 films or whatever.
Yeah, that would make more sense to me. I guess there has to be some kind of limit there, doesn't there? Because if you just do it with films, then he could just like take forever on it. But then, would that really be a big deal for them? Yeah, strange way of doing it. But I agree. I very much enjoyed The Killer, and absolutely loved Fassbender's performance. It was so great. There's just something so satisfying about even in just the first the first chapter where you're mostly just sort of watching him do nothing for I don't know how long, but I was loving it. Just like all the little intricacies to everything that he does in the film. It's so satisfying, so enjoyable, and it just feels like I don't want to, make too much of the, oh, like they don't make them like these kind of thing anymore. But it just sort of felt a bit like getting back to.
You don't know.
Yeah,
you're right in saying that.
Felt a bit like going back to a few years ago. Yeah, it was just nice. It's nice.
Yeah.
Nice to watch something like this. It's quite simple, film.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just very satisfying. I mean, a better way of putting it. I loved the chapter structure to it, based on like location as well. I thought that was really cool. It's based on some comic I'd read afterwards or something. I didn't look too much into that. So I have no idea how much it sort of sticks to that, but I don't know if anyone else sort of knew that. That was just something that I saw when I sort of looked a bit about it afterwards. But yeah, it was very funny as well. Yeah, just a good revenge story. that's to kind of get back to. What do you think, Pepster?
I echo and agree with everything you boys have said. Really, really enjoyed it. I think you're right, Richie, when you say that they don't make them like this anymore. And it's very strange to watch a film like this because you're not used to it. So I'll admit it did take me a little while to get into it. And looking back, it's such a simple story. It's just really simple, but executed really, really well. I mean, he's got Fassbender. He got the job of the lifetime, didn't he? With that role, flipping out. I mean, traveling the world first of all, different states in America, fantastic, and then going to Dominican Republic and Europe. I mean, he didn't have many lines, did he? I mean, like that role for the
other than narration.
A lot of narration,
yeah.
A lot of narration, but I mean, I'm assuming he went into a sound booth. He had his script there, so he didn't need to learn any lines. Perfect for an actor. Yeah. That's the dream job. And the scenes that he was acting, I mean, he had a couple of mumbles here and there, and grunts, and like said a couple of words to the secretary that he tied up in the bathroom and what have you. But I mean, like, perfect, absolutely perfect. But his performance, I agree, was just spot on. You could just tell he took the character on really well. And I think as well that's probably quite difficult as an actor not to have any dialogue, but to portray it without dialogue and to do a 20, probably in some cases, sort of 10-15 minute scenes, and of course they'll be cutting and reshooting and what have you, and doing it in segments and sections. But like that must be quite restraining as well as an actor to not have that sort of medium of voice and dialogue to portray the character.
Definitely.
It was that Richie said, especially in that first chapter when he's in Paris and he's setting himself up and he's just, all right, there's obviously heavy narration at that point because he's in a room on his own, he's not saying anything, there's no one else there. But the way he just goes about his routine and how meticulous he is with everything and how thought out and planned everything is. But all right, we're hearing his narration, but just looking at him, he is performing it perfectly because he's just very, like I said, it must be difficult to do that. It's a skill. It's a skill to do that.
Yeah.
And he just nailed it. It was really refreshing, actually, to see him back as like a main guy doing something that I've probably never seen him really do before. Something like this. No. It's a very different character, isn't it, to what you're normally going to get served. So he must have been chomping at the bit to work on it. I mean, very different.
Yeah. Yeah, I was watching it, in the end kind of scene, I won't say anything that like happens in it, but like this is just a bit of an aside, but like, when he's walking to his girlfriend and he's carrying like a coffee or thing on this tray and he's like holding it by the corner of the thing and just walking along with it, I was just sort of thinking to myself, I could never do that. I couldn't act in that and hold that thing like in that precarious manner. My hands looked way too shaky. That'd be fast.
Especially the windy beach that was in the Dominican,
Yeah.
the windy
Yeah.
seafront there. It was,
Yeah.
I thought,
Yeah.
Christ, that little espresso is gonna fly off in a minute.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, going back to your point, Joe, on all the little, or Woody, I can't remember who said it, on all the little things and how well they performed. Yeah, that's definitely that's one that impressed me.
And I think as well, the cast in general, I mean, he was perfect main character, and obviously the majority of the film was him, wasn't it? You know, I think there was probably more a bigger proportion of the film that was him solo in scenes than there was probably with him and other characters and other actors in. But the cast, I thought it was a really strong cast as well for what some characters were really small, minute parts. You know, there were some actors in there that had 2 minutes and that was it. But
yeah, well, Tilda Swinton had a very limited part. But she did a great job with it.
I was really surprised when she popped up. I didn't know she was going to be in it.
Yeah, same.
Because I did try and keep my powder dry with this one. I didn't want to read too much beforehand or anything. I just wanted to try and experience for what it was. When she popped up, I was like, oh my God, it's Tilda Swinton. There's only about half an hour left. So I thought, yeah. But I'm a massive fan of it. I love everything she does. And
she's great.
It was great to see it. Yeah, again, she just always delivers. But I was surprised when she popped up. I was like, right, how random. But yeah. It was a good job. Everyone did a good job, I think.
Yeah.
But, you know, his boss, and his secretary, they were good. They obviously they didn't in it for very long, but they were very good. And it was a good supporting job by everyone, I think.
Yeah. And it all kind of came together really well. Like everything was sort of quite. You had to sort of like have your brain on a bit to sort of follow everything. But at the same time, it was fairly clear what was happening without like just outright saying it all the time.
Yeah, and I think that's what Pep was alluding to earlier, where at the start you're just trying to get into it a bit, and then if you actually just step back and boil it down, it is a pretty simple revenge plot story.
Yeah.
But the way it's done is really quite different. So when he's trying to puzzle it and piece it together, you have got to just have your concentration on, because you need to work out, right, that's who's done him wrong. This is who we are, you know. And the way he did that as well as a character, it was just perfect, because it was really methodical and it was all, you know, it's all in tune with how he actually would do it. And one of the things that impressed me the most about this is that I thought if you're going to compare it to like a John Wick or Nobody, or, you know, these good fun action
James
films.
Bond.
Well, yeah, James Bond. But they're just not realistic, are they? They're not realistic to true life. I imagine with this, I mean, I'm not a subject matter expert on assassins, but I imagine like the way that it was done was realistic in terms of, you know, they are on their own all the time, and it's a lot of it is a mental battle, and the way they go about conducting themselves and finding the targets and all that. It just felt like it was a bit more believable than like a John Wick.
I agree with that. It did feel very much, and all the boredom stuff. That was all really cool. It did dip itself into a bit of ridiculousness.
Of course, of course it did
throughout, but not too much, I don't think. Just for a little bit of fun.
No, I mean, I'm just mainly talking about the whole the idea of the killer and how he would go about his day-to-day life. I mean, I can imagine it is, you know, it's not all just John Wick, everything blowing up every 2 minutes. It is boring, and it is like a always looking over your shoulder kind of battle that you've got in yourself. Because you know that scene where that guy's on the plane, that was fantastic.
Oh yeah,
how on edge he always is, the killer.
Yeah.
You just can't relax at any given moment. He's just a guy's just looked at him and he thinks he's out to get him. And the way that bit was incredible. That the lengths that he would go to cover his tracks, and
the way everything happened so slowly. It's strange because it's like nicely paced, but everything was done slowly and like you say, methodically, and that really added to the tension when something just came out of left field and like fucked up. Like in the first chapter when the the first fuck up happens. Like I don't know about you, but I like really felt that. Like, oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, Fassi's sort of reaction to that was great. But yeah, as well as it being funny at the same time as well. Pretty impressive.
Really impressive.
So yeah, I loved all that.
What did you boys, I know Wood, you brought it up a little bit earlier on in your opening comments, but the soundtrack, I thought it was, I mean, an interesting. I mean, I'm not hating it. It was a good soundtrack, but quite peculiar. I don't know. Going into this film, I would not expect the Smiths to be playing.
I think it was supposed to be a funny choice. But yeah, I think maybe there might be something, a couple of things to it, maybe that I'm not quite sure on either, or maybe he wants you to overthink it a bit.
It's just like the way it was done. So it was when the camera was on him, or you could barely, it was the in-ear kind of sound.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Then when it would then show us what he was actually looking at. So he was like stalking a building and he's in that van, blaring loud. Yeah. So it kind of made the audience hear and see what he was hearing and seeing. And then when the camera was on him, it was just all in ear all the time, which is it took a while to get used to that. I was like, it's a bit weird because it was like it would go from blaring loud to quiet, blaring loud, within a matter of seconds. But again, it's really interesting choice.
Yeah, it's strange. It's not something that like hasn't been done before or anything. We've all seen films where like a character's listening to music and it'll play for a bit and then it'll like cut to not a POV and you'll just hear it slightly as though they're like listening to it in headphones or in the car or something. But yeah, with this, it was like he had no interest in like showing in like having the music play for too long or whatever. It was just like, oh well, this POV only needs to be like 2 seconds long, so the music will blare out for like 2 seconds and then cut to that. So yeah, it was more interesting and maybe more sort of and well more real, I suppose. But noticeable. Yeah, most films would have like hung on a shot where the music can play for a little bit for whatever reason. Whereas he didn't do that with this, which was interesting. But
there's definitely got to be some kind of gag in there with him. Just this guy on his own doing the job, but he does just all he does is listen to the Smiths and feel miserable all the time.
Yeah.
He's definitely he knows what he's doing. But he could have picked anything, but I think it's definitely a little nod to Fassi's existence and the way he goes about himself. I think. I'll tell you what I've read about online, which I found really interesting. And again, sort of like a little nod. But I think there's some stuff in there that Fincher has done to kind of take the mickey out of himself. And it's because his reputation is that he's a perfectionist, and there's that famous or more infamous, really, story about him doing 100 takes in Social Network for like one shot that's about 20-second shot. He does like 100 takes for it because he just, on the 100th one, he says, right, that's it, we got it.
Worth it, great film.
Yeah, well, obviously, fantastic film. But he's just got this reputation, and it has it a bit like being a hard taskmaster and being a perfectionist and wanting to get it right. He don't care how many takes, he's got to get it.
All right, so it's getting to him a bit.
But I think with this, like, I think he's kind of like taken on board some of this criticism and just had a bit of fun with it. And
yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
So sort of like, oh, so then is some of this like thing of like, oh, trying to insist that as it said in the synopsis of the film, trying to insist that this revenge thing isn't personal. Is that like a nod to like people like us criticizing Mank?
Yeah. Well, I get on record that we would never criticize David, but
no,
in some corners of the internet there is some criticism of him and the way he goes about his work. But
right.
yeah, there's got to be. You know, if you look at it like that, you think, oh, yeah, it makes a bit of sense. Then, yeah, if some of the things that would happen in the film.
Yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't even that hadn't come on my mind at all while watching the film, so that's interesting. But yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, because now when you think back,
I can see it now.
You can see, yeah, you can see it.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Obviously, all the methodical stuff that we've just been praising. Well, yeah, I hope it doesn't get to him too much because I love his films and love his methodical approach to them. Then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, when we did the segment the other week about your least favorite films and your favorite director, and mine was Mank by David Fincher because he is probably is my favorite director, and you know, everyone can have a little slip up every now and then, but very much feels like he's back in his groove here, and I wonder what he will do next. I'm not seeing anything that's like rumored or anything. I know he's only just come out. So
what was the last thing he did before Mank?
That's a good question. Was it Gone Girl? I think.
Was it really? Wow.
Yeah, I think it was Gone Girl. That's about 2017, wasn't it?
Oh, was it? I thought it was earlier than that.
No. Well,
okay.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, let's get his.
Oh yeah, sorry, it was earlier. Yeah, 2014. But it was Gone Girl. Yeah.
Wow.
Big break then.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to him doing a few more then. What's your favorite Fincher film, Woody?
Well, I mean, probably Fight Club. I know it's a bit of a classic answer.
Yeah.
And then Social Network, Zodiac.
Yeah.
I really like Zodiac. I know you didn't like it as much, Richie, but
no, I think I might have to give that one another try because that wasn't one of my favorites.
Yeah, I really liked Zodiac. I liked
Pepper. Yeah. You know what? I might have been going. Maybe I was going into high because I knew you guys gave it really high ratings, so I was like expecting to like really love it, and then yeah.
But it's quite similar to this in a way because it's like the slow build.
Yeah.
And I mean, admittedly, not a lot happens, but it's just like the way that the police officers are going about their investigation, basically, isn't it? I mean, that's it. But
I can tell you now what is it that maybe didn't quite work for me or whatever, but I'll definitely give it another try at some point. Joe, do you have a favorite Fincher film? Feel free to get his list up. I don't know which of these you've actually seen.
I am just looking at this now. I've definitely seen Social Network.
Seen Gone Girl?
I don't think I have seen Gone Girl. No.
Oh, you'll like that one, Joe.
The name rings a bell, if I'm completely honest, but I don't. Just looking at.
It's also a book, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Famous book.
Okay,
yeah, Gillian Flynn, or whatever she's called.
Have you seen Fight Club?
I've not seen Fight Club. No.
Got to get some on some of these.
I know. I'm just looking at these. They're looking good.
Seven is brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
The game was all right. That was on Netflix a while ago.
I liked that. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, I never knew you did The Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Yeah.
So I've never actually seen that.
That's one of the ones that's maybe split opinion a bit more than.
Well, really. Yeah, because that was like the one, like his most Oscar bait one, wasn't it? Because
I've seen it, but I was very, very young when watching it, so I didn't like it at the time. I thought it was very boring, but you can't really trust my judgment from that time. So
I mean, I've got the DVD and it's still in the wrapper. I've just never been. I've never been inspired to watch it. I tell you what, just looking at his list, and one that I would have to watch again would be Panic Room. I've not seen that for years. I remember liking that when I was really young, but I don't know if it's a bit gimmicky or not. So I'd have to see that again. But one that I didn't like as much was Girl with Dragon Tattoo.
I haven't seen that either.
So he remade. So that was made as like a Swedish. I think it was Swedish. It's all set in
Yeah.
Scandinavia. Yeah, it's Sweden, isn't it? Yeah.
I think that one's. I think the Swedish one is supposed to be really good.
Yeah. So
I
the
haven't
original's
seen
meant to be
that.
belting, but
Mhm.
I didn't quite like his remake. It's still good. It's like a 3-star film, but
Mhm.
just not on the level of like Flight Club.
Flight
Fight
Club.
Club.
You're going tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, I know it's on my mind. I was like, Fight Club and Social Network. They're like 10 out of 10s, aren't they? But yeah, I wouldn't have Girl with Dragon Tattoo would be very much near bottom for me.
I think I have seen that.
And then there's his Alien film.
Daniel Craig's in it.
Yeah, I think I have seen that one.
And I remember the weird thing I thought, because again, I watched it on Netflix. Everyone's doing a Swedish accent or trying to, but he's just speaking like he's James Bond. He's just doing a Queen's English.
Oh,
And it
right.
was so off-putting. I thought, if he can't
That's
do
strange because he can do accents.
Yeah, but
easily.
yeah. Like Logan Lucky and Knives Out. Obviously, he's got.
I watched that. I
Australian
rewatched
accent.
that last night. Logan Lucky.
Oh, it's great, isn't it?
So fun. Such a good film.
Yeah, I watched it again. Not that
I
long.
love
Brilliant.
Soderbergh.
Yeah, it's brilliant. But yeah, he was just doing his normal voice, and everyone else had a little accent going on. I thought, this is weird.
How is Rooney Mara in it? Is she good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
She was actually. Yeah,
fair enough.
She has got the odd good performance in her. Like she's very good in Carol.
Oh yeah, I don't think that. I'm not like. I don't think she's a bad actress. Is there something that she's like not very good in?
I think it's more. No, I like her. I like her.
Okay.
I think maybe
the way you said that made me think that maybe you feel like no.
Well, I said that because of the way you said it. I thought you were.
No, I didn't know. I was just genuinely curious because you were saying that Daniel Craig wasn't so good. So I was just wondering how she was in it. There was no undertones of critique of her.
Well, I
like
think her sister's got a bit more of a she's got more of a question marks on her.
Oh yeah. Well, she was in the infamous Fant Four Stick, wasn't she?
Yeah,
so
there you go. There you go.
But she's also in 127 Hours. I quite like her in that, even though she only has a small role. My favorite of Fincher is definitely The Social Network.
Yeah,
I love that film.
It's a good film.
You saw that one, Pepster, yeah.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, looking at, I have seen Go with the Dragon Tattoo, but I think The Social Network really for me would be. But again, I've not seen that in years. But I'm sure it's not changed. I'm sure my opinion's still the same
film. Yeah,
still the same film, and I'm sure my opinion is still the same with it. I did just love that film.
It's funny laughing about that because you know that Across the Spider-Verse film. I don't know how true this is, but I read that they did sort of like make slight changes to things in that film for like home releases or streaming releases to like make it yeah to because it's like, oh, different universes gets different things or whatever. I don't really know what the point was of that, but I'm not really sure how I feel about that idea. But yeah, it was just sort of made me think of that when we were saying the film's still the same, because that one might not be.
No, I think Social Network.
Yeah, good choice.
Yeah, very good choice.
But this film is up there. I mean, like I say, I'd definitely put this above the Go with the Dragon Tattoo.
I would watch this one again happily.
Yeah.
Cool. Does anyone have anything else they want to sort of mention on this before we do favorite scenes on The Killer?
No.
I think so.
I like the poster that's on Letterboxd.
Yeah. Very good. Very good.
Nice.
See, that's the thing, innit? Like that kind of. It would have been nice to walk down the Odeon and see that in the corridor, wouldn't it? On like a whatever. Kind of just wasted in it on Netflix.
I
think it's a shame that we didn't get to see this in the cinema, because I think it would have been a good one. Would have been a good experience to see in the cinema.
It is such a shame, isn't it? Because I mean, I don't want to go on a tangent with cinemas and all sorts like that, but films. I mean, I'll take it back to when I was. What was I trying to see the other week? It wasn't this one. It wasn't Killers of the Flower Moon. It was the one. Was it the one before? What did we review a few weeks back?
It Testing the memory
I know,
now.
testing the memory, but it was a film that I think
Past Lives, was it?
Oh, was it Past Lives?
It might have been Past Lives. I was trying
Blackberry?
Blackberry, that was it. Blackberry. Trying to get a viewing for Blackberry. But then you have Taylor Swift, the whatever it is, literally on every single screen. And they had about 20 odd viewings of it.
Yeah, when are we doing a review of that, boys?
But it's just so infuriating, isn't it? Because it literally takes over the cinema, and you have so many good films that, okay, granted, if the contract says you can't release it on the big screen, it's got to go Netflix, then that's what he's agreed, and that's what you can't change it, can you? But just more films like this, put them in the cinema, put them on for a slightly longer length of time. And I know all the statistics are, well, if it doesn't sell tickets, then what's the point of getting the screens and this, that, and the other? But just try and change people's opinions of not lesser known films, but just different films, and try and broaden people's sort of intake of them, I suppose.
Maybe it'll change soon, Pepster. I feel like we're in a bit of a changing time right now, aren't we? You know, I think people are getting, I mean, again, it's a bit of a tired opinion, but I think people are getting a bit sick of the MCU stuff these days. So maybe we're in a bit of an interim section. Do you reckon?
I mean, I feel like that's what Pep's saying though. He's like, yeah, right. So you're sick and tired of the MCU, but so you look at what's on at your local cinema, and then this isn't on. So the killer's not there, and whatever Eternals freeze on or whatever it is, you know, it's just don't want to see that.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Maybe it'll take a bit of a time for the studios to sort of catch up with the feeling of other people. So maybe we're soon in for a change on that. I hope so. I live in hope.
Lads, we know what's out now. What we're reviewing next?
Do we?
The Marvels.
Yeah. Harry actually messaged me about that. He was like, "Are you boys reviewing the Marvels?" I was like, "I've not even heard of this." So I looked it up, and he was like, "I mean, I know you'll say that I'm a big Marvel fan, but he said even I, and this is Harry, even I am very hesitant to watch that film."
Yeah, I hadn't considered like really reviewing that one. I don't. I mean, Woody seems excited to do it, but
I mean, no, I'm not excited, but I think it would be funny. But I'm not.
That would be the only reason to do it, wouldn't it? Just because it'd be funny and we could have fun, sort of making fun of it. But I just don't feel good giving these things my money at this point.
No, I think that's very much gone now, and I've not seen any Marvel films since Avengers Endgame or whichever one. The final one was.
You've not seen any since Endgame? Oh no! You saw
Spider-Man.
You've seen the Spider-Man ones.
Yeah, so so what was it? One of the Tom Holland ones, and then the Across the Spider-Verse. Does that even
that doesn't count?
Right, so I've seen the Tom Holland one. That's it. That's it. Oh, Guardians.
That's right, Guardians. Yeah, so there's still like this. It wasn't great. There's still a couple of those like ones that you may be a bit more interested in, and we'll go and watch like Guardians or Spider-Man. I'll always go and see a Spider-Man film no matter what, I think. MCU or otherwise, just because I love Spider-Man. But yeah,
I'm hoping we're gonna get some good films next year, because I didn't realize till they did a bit of an update on this new cinema in Blackpool, and it's going to be one of the biggest IMAX screens in the country. Did you know?
Whoa.
I know. Wow. I didn't realize that. And then,
do we know when it's opening, Pepster?
I think it's around March time next year.
We might have to get together and
that's a great idea. Yeah, it's in Hounds Hill, isn't it? So very central.
Hounds Hill.
Easy to get to. Yeah, that's great.
I reckon in March going to be an absolute.
Is that when June Part 2 is finally coming out?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, it would look good on a big IMAX, but I don't know if I actually want to shell out money to go watch it.
Are you not planning? You don't want to see that one?
No, I didn't like the first one. So.
No, but I think we'll probably. Well, I'll be seeing it, and Jack will definitely be.
Yeah,
I think we should probably do a review of it. But
drown myself.
If you're really not into. doing it. Yeah.
But
Is he doing? Is he doing another one after that as well? He's doing like a part 3.
Oh God! Right. Well, I might skip that one then.
I don't know if that's true or not. Okay. Let's getting back to the killer. What are our favorite scenes for the killer?
I think my favorite is the scene where he goes into the office building and finds his employer, shall we say, without trying to give too much away. And the way he disguises himself as a sort of recycling collector, gets in there, and then what happens in the office happens, was brilliant. And again, it had moments in there where I didn't quite know where it was going to go, how it was going to play out. And then, what that then leads on to the rest of the film. I thought, great moment.
I think it comes down to really just picking your favorite of the like
chapters or something.
Chapters, I suppose, but or just picking your favorite of the like tactics, like the different ways of getting into certain places, or his little methodical sort of tricks that he does, like setting up the sort of trap in the airport hotel, and things like that. I think my favorite, the one I'd go with would be when he's like getting access to the gym and things in the towards the end.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
And then when he actually sees the client, I think I really loved that whole sequence. So I think that would be my favorite.
Yeah, I think they're two really good ones, boys. I think I'd probably put in there when he goes to see the expert towards the end.
Yeah, that's a great one as well.
And they have their whiskeys was
that was Tilda, wasn't it?
That was and then the culmination of that sort of leading on after that, I think that was a really good
great
scene.
shout. That so many good scenes in it.
That was great, actually. But how that ended was
yeah,
God, yeah,
it was.
Oh yeah, that was very good, actually. Yeah.
So yeah,
God, what a fun film! This was so good to
watch.
Wasn't it? Yeah. Cool. Okay, right. What are we going to give this one out of 10, everyone?
Yeah, I was thinking 8.5.
Yeah, something along those lines for me as well.
Yeah, I'm struggling to pick one out of 8 or 8.5. I did enjoy it, and this conversation has made me enjoy it even more.
Yeah, same actually.
And I definitely think there is, like Richie's, like you said earlier, like I definitely do it again, watch it again, and it's just so fun. So let's go 8.5. Let's go for
it. Go for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with an 8.5. I reckon.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna stick a bit more reserved and go with 8, but with expectations for it to go up on a rewatch.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Nice.
So well done, David.
Well done.
Nice to have you back, son.
Yeah. You've redeemed yourself.
Absolutely.
Welcome back. Come on
in. Okay. Right. Well, let's move on from the killer then, and we're going to talk about a few other things that we've maybe watched recently. Pepster, you mentioned that you had one or two.
Yeah, I've watched a couple of films actually the last couple of weeks, which, to be honest, is a little bit rare for me.
Very out of character.
Very, very. But before we do films, I know Woods watched this, and we did say that we'd have a little bit of a debrief on the podcast afterwards. And I don't know if I know Wood put it in the group. I don't know if you watched it, Richie. The Detectives.
Was this a documentary?
It's a 3-part.
Yeah, 3-part,
Fly on the Wall, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very, very well done. Really eye-opening. Gets the emotions mixed inside you, I think, and you do get quite. I know Isaac's quite infuriated and wound up.
Corruption.
corruption to an extent. Not really. That's sort of more of a side issue, although that got me wound up the most, I think, at the end. But no, just organized crime, and the use of drugs, isn't it, really, on the streets of Rochdale, and getting kids to do the drug running, and just a whole myriad of different things. It starts off with the stabbing of a young lad. It is Rochdale, isn't it, Wood? It was Rochdale.
Wow.
Yeah, and then this sort of like spidering on from there, and it follows this team of police officers that have been following this gang for 10 years. And
sounds pretty grueling.
Yeah. But you know what? It was one that I stuck on. It was so weird. I put it on, and then halfway through Would put the message in the group. I'm like, I'm watching. How weird is that? Like I'd stuck it on. I was like, I'll stick one episode on. I knew it was 3-parter. I thought, stick one on, see how it goes, and then I'll probably watch it over the coming evenings. And I watched it all in one night, I think, in the end, because it was just so gripping.
Yeah. Even though it's heavy going, it's just I think that the access that they had, and it felt like we were learning, as the detectives were learning, about the next development in the case, and that very rare that you get that kind of access in normal programs about police or emergency services or whatever it is. I think that's what made it so good.
Yeah.
And I was met up with a friend of the show, previous guest, Thomas James Broderick, yesterday. And he was saying that he watched it, binged it, really liked it, was talking about how good it was. And
that's what I've not heard of this apart from you boys mentioning it.
Yeah, but I think it's every time I go on the iPlayer, it is on. It's quite high up, so I think they're really trying to push it.
I don't often go on the iPlayer,
but I see it's got very good reception in it. Yeah, it was incredible. Is that thing you were saying about just wanting to? Once finished, you're like, oh my god, I need to see the other one, even though it is bloody heavy hitting stuff. It's just very, very well made.
Yeah,
that sounds pretty good. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Something that I've not watched, like I do like my documentaries, and I don't know if you feel the same, Wood, but I think recently I've probably not really watched many recently because there's just not really been many about. But something like that, it did just. I know it's not film, but it was just gripping. And like you say, the access that they had probably is not. And I was reading something before it actually, because I don't know where on Facebook I must. From yonks back, been in liked a page about Line of Duty or whatever. So like people put in or put on things that it's not. It sort of is. It's similar to Line of Duty, but more real day sort of like real life terms, I suppose. And somebody put that on, and I was like, oh, that looks interesting. And then looking at a news article about it before I watched it, and how I believe it was supposed to be part of a 6-part, and I might be wrong, but they'd said it was supposed to be part of a 6-part documentary, but they released 3 episodes of it a couple of years back or a year or so ago. But these 3 episodes, because it was going through the courts and because of the legal side of it, they had to meticulously go through and make sure that it was all above board. So they reserved these 3 back, and then they sort of said, right, we'll just create a new series and just focus on these 3. So I'm eager to try and find the first 3.
But they're not on there.
They're not on there.
So I think, it must be some kind of legal thing. They're not on there.
They can't be on. But yeah, I just thought something that just so gripping. And it's very rare I get wound up at things and while I'm watching stuff.
Well, that's a lie.
Unless parking's involved.
No, like I say those things in jest sometimes.
So you went mental over seeing some cream eggs in the shop on 23rd of December.
No, but this seriously gets your blood boiling. Yeah, really. But no, definitely worth a watch if you're a bit of a loose end and you want something to watch. Definitely worth a watch.
You've definitely wet my whistle for that. I'll definitely check that out, I think.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then I've watched a couple of other things. First of all, Retribution. It's a new Liam Neeson film.
Okay.
That came on to
Nice.
came on to Sky the other week. Typical Liam Neeson.
I've not heard of this one either.
No, it's very, very, very middle
It's
of the
rated
road.
very lowly.
Yeah. It's I think I was quite generous with my 2.5 stars, if I'm honest. Yeah, no, very, very middle of the road. Just something that passes an hour and a half.
91 minutes, that's why you watched it.
No, I was again at a loose end, stuck Sky Movies on, or now TV, and it was at the top of there. I saw 2023 release, new film. Oh, why not? Let's see what it's like. But yeah, typical Liam Neeson film, sort of trying to drive his kids to school, realize he's got a bomb in the car, and literally it's all set in the car.
Okay.
Which, yeah,
sounds a bit like Speed.
Yeah. It was very middle of the road. But then I watched The Burial. On, I think, pretty sure that was Netflix. Netflix or Now TV or Amazon Prime.
Wow, you're getting a lot of new 2023 watches in.
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones and Jamie Foxx.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of this one.
Oh yeah,
It's I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Funny, very funny. About a chap in, I think it's Mississippi, that he owns the biggest sort of group of funeral homes, but he's like a local businessman. And then he wants to keep it going for he's an older guy. He wants to keep it going for his family. So he gets involved with a bigger sort of corporation, tries to make a deal to sell a couple of funeral homes and secure the future. And it doesn't go to plan. So he takes him to court and he gets involved, or he tries to get a lawyer, a black lawyer, who has never tried a case for a white person before. And it goes from there.
Okay, that sounds pretty interesting.
It's based on true events. I'd never heard of the lawyer before, Willie Gray, but yeah, apparently he was quite a famous lawyer back in the day, black lawyer, a little bit like a shock jock type lawyer as well.
Willie Gary, it says here.
Willie Gary, sorry. Yeah, that's my eyes. But yeah, definitely worth a watch, boys, I think.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
That's on Prime, isn't it? It's a Prime one. Yeah.
Is it a Prime one? Yeah, I couldn't remember if it's Netflix or Prime, but yeah.
Okay.
I've seen it on home screen a few times, and it's got really good reviews.
It's on Jack's watch list.
Yeah,
yes,
but
it is.
So is everything. So
half of Letterboxd is on Jack's watch list.
True.
Doesn't mean anything, does it?
But yeah,
well, I'll add it to mine though.
No, it is.
Sounds pretty interesting.
It's a good one.
Cool.
But yeah, other than that, yeah,
that's it for you.
That's it, really.
What did you got anything you wanted to sort of bring up?
Yeah. So I watched in the independent cinema the last Ken Loach film.
Oh yeah,
because he's now retiring. So it's called The Old Oak. I mean, I don't want to. I think we've retired Sir Michael Caine, and then he actually came out. I think he's done about 10 films since we said he was retired. So I don't know, mistakenly retire Ken, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be his last one. He might get his arm twisted. I don't know, but yeah. So I went to an independent place to watch this because, as we talked about earlier on this episode, got no chance of getting it in a big screen, big cinema. Yeah, it was a very, very good film. Another one that was set in the northeast of England, like Daniel Blake was, and he had another one that came out in 2019 that I haven't seen. So the last three he's done have all been set in the northeast, which is an area that's been really hit with socio-economic issues in the last couple of decades, really. And basically, it's very simple premise, really. It's a landlord of a pub called The Old Oak. It's like a mining it's a former mining town. This pub is just about scraping any kind of service. But there's a couple of regulars that come in, but he's fallen apart. And it's just a bit of a dump, and the whole place is just not very nice. And it's tied in with the refugee crisis that we're having at the moment. So this area of the northeast is picked by the government to house a load of Syrian refugees. And the tensions in the community start to arise with like your working class miners and the Syrian refugees. So both sides are having there's tension on both sides, and the landlord of the pub, the Old Oak, he kind of takes in one of these families and looks after them, much to the disgruntlement of the regulars. And over the course of the film, we see them both sides coming together and working out the differences and stuff. It's just really, really well done, really impactful.
Cool.
Yeah,
sounds pretty heavy.
It's very heavy, but it really gets you going emotionally. Yeah, it really does. Very, very emotional film. And the main guy, this is what I love about Ken Loach. He just picks these actors, no big names. Some of them are just real people.
That's cool.
Having a go at it.
I like that.
Yeah, and we're all Geordies or from the northeast. So it just
looks like this main guy was in I, Daniel Blake as well.
Yeah. So Dave Turner is the main landlord. He was fantastic. He's been all three. He's been in the last three of these Ken Loach northeast-based films. The other one, I think it's called Sorry We Miss You. I'm pretty sure it was on the iPlayer. It might have gone now. But yeah, this is why he's so good, because he takes these real life issues that we're having and tries to show him in a certain light and put him on a pedestal and stuff. It's very, very well done. And it's good. It's a shame that is going to be his last one, because it's a very, very important piece of British filmmaking. I think Ken Loach, he always has this way of telling his stories.
Do you know why he's retiring? How old is he?
He's nearly 90, mate. That's like
Christ.
Yeah.
I was going to say, looking at his letterbox, he's done all sorts.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, Kes came out in the 60s, didn't it? So he must be knocking on the door at 90 now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fair enough.
So yeah. Yeah, what a career, what a guy.
Cool.
Brilliant film. If you get a chance, lads, give it a watch. It is, it's heavy going, but it's just so well done.
Yeah.
It really is. It's definitely going to be up there. The film is a film of the year for me, definitely.
All right.
Absolute belter.
Cool.
And other stuff. I just show how busy I've been recently. I did watch 2 horror films in November, so after Halloween. So I wanted to get some in. But I just didn't have time to beforehand. So
yeah.
I did a new and an old. So I did Talk to Me, which Jack Francis was raving about the other week.
He was.
He gave it 4 stars on Letterboxd, and I think he might have been slightly impaired when he watched that, or I must have watched a different film, because
oh dear,
it was not good. I did not enjoy it.
Oh no.
Very, very cliche, generic teen horror that you've seen a million times before. There wasn't really anything in there that was unique or different. Just very run-of-the-mill stuff I'd seen many times before. And I think,
was it maybe going back to they don't make them like these anymore type film?
Well, I think the problem is we make them too much. These kind of
okay.
Can't stop making them. Just like so generic, and jump scares, and
that's a shame.
I think some of the stuff I will give a bit of credit. We did try with some of the body horror elements, and the way that I obviously won't give it away, but the way that the hand, I can't really say it out.
Okay.
Well, the way it takes over your body, kind of thing. It was well done, but once you've seen it 2-3 times, you've seen it. plot was really silly towards the end. It was like laughable how bad it was. Weird, yeah. I was quite looking forward to it because it's obviously it's A24 and Jack really liked it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
He
get a
was there.
rebuttal from Jack on this.
Yeah, no, he's not here to
bit of an
defend
argument
himself.
going.
But it was one of them where it came out. You know, we was talking earlier about cinemas and Netflix and all this, but that was in the cinema first. But it didn't feel like that long ago it was in there, and then now it's very quickly come onto Netflix. So if we do, I think we do it. Because it was in the cinemas for at least a couple of weeks because I kept seeing it on listings and stuff. But yeah, so I just watched it on Netflix now. So
Cool.
yeah, disappointing. So after I watched that, I wanted to watch an old one that I thought I'd never seen before, but thought hoping it was going to be good. And it was, and that was An American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, nice.
Now, probably you definitely inspired me because obviously you were singing its praises and you watched it, and you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I watched it again on Halloween actually. That one.
It was definitely on my mind. I think I'd seen that you'd rewatched it. So, and I'd never seen it before, and it was on Netflix. I thought, right, here we go. And then I was for the first hour, I was thinking, oh god, I'm not really enjoying this. I don't. Really...
Oh really?
Yeah, I couldn't get into it.
I thought you'd have like properly got into all the like the people at the pub and stuff.
Well. So take that aside. So the pub bit is by far one of the funniest scenes I think I've ever seen. I mean, so good.
Yeah,
so good. So I was loving all that, but then I don't know. It just kind of just took me a while to get into, but then I finally was into it, and it was brilliant. Such good fun. I think in the second hour, I think we lent into the comedy a bit more, and I think once it just kind of became basically an all-out comedy with a bit of horror elements, I think that's when it became a better film. I think in the first half we were kind of trying. But it had a bit more of a balance where, like, okay, yeah, we'd have the pub scene, but then we'd try and go for the horror elements as well. And I think it definitely worked better when it was just being a straight up comedy.
Okay.
And you definitely get that more in the second half. And it was brilliant. It was brilliant. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. It was so funny. Towards the end, it just ramps it up. It just gets better and better.
Yeah, I love that film. I do love the comedy, and I love the horror parts of it as well. I think some of the effects of the film are amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, the transformation scene alone, it's like the best transformation scene I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was incredible. Yeah. Just loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I was looking on Letterboxd. So this is a John Landis film, and he did the Blues Brothers, which is a favourite of mine. So Yeah. And when I found that out, I was like, oh, okay, it makes sense why it's so funny then. Why we're trying to go for the humour.
Yeah.
Great film. Absolutely.
I love the bit when he's in the porn film cinema thing, and all the dead people are just sort of sitting around him.
Yeah.
Telling him to kill himself. So funny.
Brilliant film.
Yeah, get on that one, Pepster, if you can.
Yes, I'll put it on the watch list.
Cool. Any more from you, Wood, or are you?
Well, the other film I watched recently was The Beach. I don't have much to say about that. Didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Strange, weird.
It is an odd one.
Tilda's in that as well, so I saw her twice in 2 nights. I went back to back Tilda.
Nice.
What a strange film that is.
It is a strange film.
It's just weird.
It's not one that I would probably watch again.
No, I only watched it because it was leaving the iPlayer soon. So I thought, I've never seen it. I might as well just give it a go. And no,
there's elements to it that I enjoyed, but yeah,
there is, but it just got a bit too strange and trying to be too clever almost. It lost its way.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll just very quickly mention. I watched American Werewolf in London and Halloween as well, and I also watched Saw, which I said I was going to watch. So I did.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
I nearly put it on. So I know because we were
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about it, I thought, and it's also on Netflix in it. So I thought, oh, maybe I should rewatch Saw. But I just wanted to go for one that I hadn't seen before.
Mm.
But yeah, what do you think then of Saw?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was it's a very silly film.
Okay.
And yeah, you've I think you've sort of got to really take it for what it is. Um, it's by no means a masterpiece, and the acting in it is very questionable. But it was fun. It's a fun film, and I like the sort of non-linear aspect to it. I don't know how interested I am in really watching the entire 10 film long series, or 12 did we say it was, actually, because there was like
Jigsaw.
Jigsaw and yeah, something else. But it was fun. I did enjoy myself while watching it. So it's pretty much, I think it's pretty much what you want from just a silly horror flick, really. Good fun. And then yeah, one other thing is there's a TV series on Netflix called Bodies. And it stars Stephen Graham.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I just sort of seen a lot of people sort of talking about this and raving about it. Admittedly, I think it was like retweets from Netflix itself, so pretty biased. But nonetheless, I like Stephen Graham, so I thought it worth popping on and having a go. And I didn't really click with it, to be honest. It's pretty boring.
Is it?
Oh, really?
It's a nice idea. I like the idea of it. And it's a cool concept, but for me, I just it really felt like one of those shows where it's just like nothing happens for 45 minutes and then a cliffhanger to keep you going for the next episode. And so I gave it a few episodes, and then I couldn't be bothered carrying on with it.
Okay.
This is the one where is it the same murder that happens in
Yes.
different times in history and future as well?
Yeah. It's across like 4 different timelines. Of and it's this body appears in the same place in the exact same way, and it's the same body in all 4 timelines. And Stephen Graham also seems to be spanning across all 4 timelines as well. He seems to be the mysterious sort of figure surrounding it. Yeah, so I felt a bit led on because I watched this sort of thinking it stars Stephen Graham, but he's not really in it. He's not really in it very much because he's the like mysterious figure that they're trying to sort of figure out. So yeah, I guess technically it does star him, but not really. It stars these other people mostly, and he's just sort of in it every now and then. So yeah, that rubbed me the wrong way a bit.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Like because it's like properly pushing him in all the marketing.
Shame, exactly. Yeah, well, yeah,
as you'd expect.
I wanted to give that a go because I thought Stephen Graham's in it and it looks all right, but
yeah, I mean, by all means, it could just be that it just didn't click with me. I think a lot of people seem to like it, so I'm not. I don't think there's anything really that bad about it, but for me, it just really felt like it was just sort of like dragging on each episode, and maybe might have been better as like a film, maybe, or something. But I find that with so much TV these days, I hesitate to put on a new show anymore because just every time it's just like, okay, I've got to watch this for 45 minutes while nothing happens until they do something big at the end to get me to come back to the next episode.
I'll tell you what, the amount of TV I start and then stop is definitely becoming more of a problem. And I'm also quite happy with, if I'm not enjoying something, do you know what? I'm not going to wait it out for 2 series just to get to, extreme example, but I've not got the time. I can't bother. If I don't like something, it's getting binned, and I'll just pick it up again. There's plenty of other choices out there. There's so much stuff. It's impossible for us to watch everything.
Yeah, and everything's dragged out so much because they want the watch time, and they want
Yeah.
So and so it's making me hesitant to start new series now because I'm just like, I know that to give this a good chance, I have to sink a decent amount of time into it.
Yeah.
And I just don't believe that it's going to be worth my time to even bother.
Yeah. So I've definitely happening a lot more now. So is that because of the quality, the overall quality of television series is dropping? Or they're just doing these tactics of, but you're going to have to invest so much of your time to get to the relevant plot point.
It could just be that. It could just be, they just the playing the game too much of making something as long as possible when it doesn't need to be that long, thereby making it bad. Or it could be both, and the quality's gone down and the quantity's gone up. So I gave up with Bodies. Second season of Invincible's out, so I watched the first episode of that, and that was good. Enjoyed it. I've not got much to say on that really. Good.
Is that Amazon one?
Yes.
Yeah. Never watched that, so
it's good. It's fun. It's very violent, and it's quite funny, and it sort of takes the it sort of shows the superhero stuff in a different kind of way. It's cool. It's a good show. I would recommend it. So I can't say too much about season 2 just yet because I've only seen one episode, but fine so far.
I'm just looking. There's only 2 episodes on there, so yeah. They're doing the old school
of series 2, but there's full series 1 on there.
Yeah. So they've only released 2 of the new ones. So
yeah. I think even one of those that was released earlier in the year. I think that was like a prequel thing that was sort of not really related to it. So yeah, I think there's only actually been one episode of the new season out. So yeah, I'll just saying that I mentioned that I'm watching that, and that's all I've got to say on that. And that'll probably do it for me, I think. So
nice.
Yeah. Cool. Well, please like and subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And thank you for listening. And unless anybody's got anything else they'd like to say, then I guess I'll say it's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye.
Oh dear, this is what happens when.
I know. Hold on. Who's is it?
Casey's not. Who normally goes after me?
It's me, I think, normally.
Oh, right. That's my. Sorry, team. Right.
Okay.
No worries.
I'll start again. Unless anybody's got anything else they'd like to say, then I guess I'll say it's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.